Have you ever reached out to your husband at the worst possible moment when your heart was heavy, when you needed him to sit with you, maybe pray with you, and instead of leaning in, he froze, got quiet, changed the subject, or walked away like your feelings were too much? You're not imagining it, right? You're not too needy, and he's not uncaring. All those things are could be true. There is one hidden reason driven, provider-minded husband like yours pull away right when you need them the most. And once you understand it, this one hidden reason, everything starts making sense. So I want you to stay with me because this might be the most freeing thing you hear all week, or maybe for a very long time. The real reason he pulls away. So I want us to go straight to the truth. Um, Driven husbands like yours, provider, focused husband, don't respond to emotion the way you do. And I wanted to make sure that that is understood going in. When you come to him overwhelmed, he doesn't hear, I need you. That's what you're trying to communicate, but he doesn't hear that. Do you know what he hears instead? I'm failing. See, nothing shuts a driven man down faster than the fear he's not enough. He's not pulling away from you. I can tell you that. He's pulling away from the uncomfortable feeling of I'm letting her down. See, you're reaching out, dear wife, for comfort. He's wrestling shame. And if no one ever explained that to you, of course, his distance feels like rejection. But I think that there is some reason beyond what it is you might be thinking or hearing that what leads him to do or behave that way. Hey, by the way, if you haven't, if we haven't met yet, I'm Kingsley Grant, a marriage therapist and Christian coach. For almost 2 decades and after 40 years of marriage since 1985, I've helped wives understand the inner work or the inner world of their driven, provider minded husband like yours. Because once you understand how he thinks, you finally learn how to reach his heart. So, gonna get back. Let's get back then to this gap between you and him. Um, why the gap possibly is there? How did it come about? How did we get here? So here's what I do know: a driven husband like yours feels love through providing, solving. And by the way, I'm just checking the boxes here. Protecting, being the rock. That's how he feels love, right? So when you come with emotion, especially when you're hurting, he doesn't hear a request. I know that's what you want him to hear, but he hears like a report card, a grading moment in his head. You say, it was a hard day. I feel so overwhelmed. um, you know what he hears? I feel, I mean, he hears, um, I should have prevented. I should have prevented her stress. Like he's responsible. He hears a sense of responsibility. You say, I feel alone. He hears, I failed her. You say, I just need you close. He hears, I can't keep up. His shutdown isn't disconnection, it's a emotional overload. Yeah, and I can tell you from personal experience as a husband, myself, as I mentioned, of 40 years since 1985, and pretty much like your husband, hard driven, hard working, wanting to provide and make sure my family have what they need. I can resonate. I would say identify with your husband around these things because when we hear like I need you close, it's like, oh man, I know I want to be there for my wife in that manner. And I can tell you, we have had our ups and downs. We have had moments where I feel like not, I'm not capable or not able, let's put that word, able to meet all the needs she has. And sometimes I just kind of shut down. I just don't know what to do sometimes. I've since learned, thank God, because of his grace and having been at this for such a long time and, working with other couples, hundreds of other couples, I've learned some things along the way. So your husband's shutdown isn't disconnection because I know that when I experience that myself, it's not that I'm disconnecting from my wife. It's just a sense of emotional overload. It's not that your husband is cold, he's scared. He's scared. He just hides it under silence. And as you might know this very much, well, not might, you do know that sometimes it's hard for us, for your husband, to truly communicate and articulate what he really wants and what he really needs and what he's really thinking, right? And here's a part no one tells wives or tells someone, like you. Driven husbands feel deeply, they just process slowly. And when they fear failing, they retreat. And I can tell you that is true. We retreat, which means his withdrawal is not rejection, it's protection. It's protection, but the wrong kind. I know it's the wrong kind because you're simple thinking. Come on, that's like, baloney. Come on, Kingsley, get real. Well, dear wife, I'm doing my best to get real because I see myself as the translator here of your husband's heart. I'm trying to translate to you what is happening. And I know it may feel like I'm making an excuse for him. No, I'm trying to help you to better understand the man that you are married to, you're interacting with. And of course, you live with him, so you know him better than I do. But I'm speaking from a general perspective of what we as men, how we hear things, how we react to things, how we process things. So when he's withdrawing, it's his way of protection. But in your mind and in your world, it's the wrong kind, right? It's the wrong kind. He's protecting you from his mess when what you actually want is his presence, right? And but he's trying to hold back. And it's not that you're asking too much, and I get it. You're asking in a language he doesn't recognize yet, and that's fixable. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. And I've seen in my work as a therapist for all these many years, almost over 2 decades, when I hear this and I see this interaction between a husband and a wife, I try to help her to get to this place to understand better what he's saying and understand that the language that she's using is that he doesn't recognize that yet, So can he come to better understand and recognize it? Yes. Yes. But it has to be made known because it's fixable. It has to be brought to the surface. So here's a phrase that changes everything that I think that could be helpful. And this is what I want to offer you. Here's a phrase that you, dear wife, could use. Okay. What if you qualified what you're saying by simply saying to your husband, I don't need you to fix anything. Just be with me for a minute. Okay. So what you've done is kind of disarm him and thinking that his defense mechanism has gone up. You kind of bring that down. And so what you're going to see is that he would soften, his shoulders would relax, and I can tell you, we in our bodies we feel like, okay, I can exhale. And so what happened is you'll see him re-engage because you just remove the pressure he hates. And what you've also done is invited him into the connection that he wants. That's how you're connecting with him. That's what Proverbs 15 verse 1 says. A gentle answer turns away wrath, right? Or in your case, turns away withdrawal. So it's not just what you say, right? Is how it's said, it's when it's said and where it's said, right? Sometimes you've heard people would say, oh, it's not just, it's what you say and how you say it. And I'm just saying that's only half the equation. The other half is as important, right? When the timing is so important and where the place when it's said, where it's said. Because I can tell you in a public, it's not going to work. Before the kids, it's not going to work. So where it's said is also very important. So if you've been hurting, feeling unseen, feeling like your husband slips away when you need him most, I want you, dear wife, to know this. God has not abandoned your marriage. He sees what you're carrying. Yeah. And he's teaching you how to reach your husband's heart in a brand new way. And that's what I think I'm here to do is to translate for you his heart, is to help you to better understand and see what's going on behind the scenes. You're not losing him. You're, can I use this phrase? You're learning him. You're learning to better understand him, and you're not doing it alone. And I'm here to help you in this regards. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this. And I would love to, if you've not yet subscribed to this channel, I hope you would do so that you can get more of this and also help me to reach more wives like yourself. So here's, I want to say this, dear wife. If you want to understand your husband's wiring even more, his silence, his stress, and what helps him open up instead of shut down, I made a free resource for you. It's called Reconnect, a quick guide for wives who feel like they're doing it all. And so if you're interested in that, you can grab it at buildyourhappiermarriage.com/reconnect. And I'll send it to you right away. It's a digital product. You get it right away in your email, and you'll be able to see I made three very important points about how it is that you can actually open up his heart and telling you what to do and what to say. It's very easy, quick read. So I have that for you. I prepared that for you. And if you find that I'm doing in that booklet is to help you rebuild emotional closeness, and that's what I want you to get to. And I would love to hear your thoughts, your feedback on that after you have gone through it. And so I want you to help you to reconnect in that manner, as a booklet is called Reconnect, without nagging, guessing, or walking on eggshells. How about that? How does that sound? Now, if this video helped you see your husband with new eyes, where I would love to, where you can connect with him. I'd love for you to share this with another wife who needs this today. You just don't know who might be waiting, and you might know someone who waits, who wants this, and this might find this video helpful. So please share it, and make sure, like I mentioned before, you subscribe so you don't miss the next video that will help you build a stronger, happier, and Christ-centered marriage. And I want you to watch this next video on your screen. It will bless you. I guarantee it will bless you. Now, with that said, I want to say thank you for taking the time to watch. And may the Lord bless you and give you his peace and his wisdom and his grace and a heart full of hope for your marriage. Okay. And so I see you next time. God bless.